On the news, President Bola Tinubu backs constitutional amendment for clear roles for national and subnational governments. Senate Adhoc Committee oversighting emergency administration in Rivers State commences screening of appointees. Plus, House of Representatives advises withdrawal of mining licenses for violation of Mining Act. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Joshua Ogojide. The news commences as the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, commends President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for signing into law the bills for the establishment of the Federal College of Education, Bende, Abia State, Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, Item Bende, Abia State, and the Federal University, Okigwe, Imo State. Akpabio also extolled the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, who sponsored two of the bills, and other stakeholders in the Senate, including the Deputy Whip, Senator Onyekachi Nwebonyi, Deputy Minority Whip, Senator Osita Ungu, and main sponsor of one of the bills, Senator Patrick Mondubueze, for their exceptional leadership, effective representation, and a commitment to the well-being of their people. In a statement, he praised stakeholders in both the House of Representatives and the Senate for their steadfastness and support for the renewed hope agenda of the Tinubu administration. The three institutions aim to provide quality education, research opportunities, and cater for the educational needs of the Southeast region and healthcare delivery to advance knowledge and improve health outcome in the region. Senator Akpabio said the establishment of the institutions would mark a significant milestone in promoting education and development in the Southeast region. Meanwhile, the Senate Adhoc Committee oversighting emergency administration in Rivers State has commenced the screening of appointees of President Bola Tinubu into three agencies in the state. The Adhoc Committee, chaired by Senate Leader Okwemi Bamdele, screened by Michael Hode, the nominee for the position of Chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, ALSEC, and 6 other members. The committee, however, after discovering that Mr. Hode was from Cross River State, resolved to study the extant law.
Our opinion, Independent National Electoral Commission is about Nigeria, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When we say a state independent electoral commission, it's about that state. And this is not a matter we're just going to gloss over, because if it happens, it will be a novel situation. And it has to be something that we can defend. We must find that defense, clearly stated in the law. Even if there's nothing in the law saying you cannot appoint from outside of the state, even if nothing says that, we still need to look at it to be sure that it's not something that will be repugnant to public conscience. It has to be something that we're able to defend. So we'll take a second look at that. But as to eligibility criteria, otherwise, that's not in doubt. But your appointment has raised a novel issue for us to look into and take a decision so that we'll know whether it's something that can serve as a precedent or not.
The committee will also screen the appointees for the Rivers State Local Government Service Commission, which has Israel Amadi as chairman, and those for the Rivers State Civil Service Commission, which has Dr. Pariko Paribuma as chairman of the 5-man team. In another development, President Bola Tinubu says constitutional amendment is required to provide clear roles for national and sub-national government to police Nigeria's vast territories towards a safer country. This was what contained in his message to the Legislative Dialogue on National Security Architecture, organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Constitutional Review. National Assembly correspondent Mita Ikpe reports.
This convergence of security experts and lawmakers on the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Abuja, is to seek constitutional pathways to tackling the nation's evolving security challenges. Defense Minister Mohammed Badru brings the president's message to the dialogue with advocacy for robust and modern constitutional framework to boost national security and improve the capacity of the security forces as well as tiers of governments to respond to national and cross-border threats.
No conversation on Nigerian security is complete without recognizing the porous nature of our borders and their role in fueling arms trafficking, transnational crimes, and terrorism. The executive branch stands ready to work with the legislature, the security services, and all stakeholders to give those reforms constitutional force and legitimacy.
You can't link insecurity, you can't deal with insecurity and not talk of financing, terrorism financing. We must look at the EFCC law, look at the bites that we need to give, and look at all these things in a bigger scale.
The leadership of the House of Representatives and representative of the Chief of Defense Staff agreed that the quest for legislative foundation for a more responsive national security system is timely.
To proceed with constitutional amendment without first hearing from you, we will be akin to a medical doctor prescribing treatment without a thorough diagnosis.
Let me reiterate the need for a renewed attention on House Bill 617, which supports the creation of state policing systems. This topical issue continues to generate public interest and concern. The issue of border security is also critical and needs urgent legislative attention.
This review should also consider empowering the armed forces to detain and investigate suspects during internal operations.
The House Constitution Review Committee says the outcome of this dialogue will give legislators foresight on key security reforms required in the Constitution amendment process. Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Also, the House of Representatives is suggesting that mining licenses of firms found to have violated provisions of the Mining Act be withdrawn by the Ministry of Solid Minerals. This was during an investigative hearing by the House Committee on Solid Minerals. Our correspondent has details. The requirements for mining operations include but not limited to payment of royalty, proof of VAT, remittance, mining lease, mining plan design, environmental audit, waste management permit, minimum work plan, list of employees, and expatriate quota. Two mining firms, Adhoc and Gombe Limited, at the investigative hearing, failed to provide proof of remittance of royalty, approved field storage plan, minimum work plan, and more importantly, community development agreement, CDA.
So this is the minimum work program for our company.
Approved from the ministry.
Ordinary, because if you use our sales, it shows that you are going to have less royalty because we are stockpiling of ground as I'm talking to you. So we are using our explosive factor to calculate the royalty.
This is what you give the community you are making billions of naira from.
Please provide this committee with a copy of your CDA for 2019. Yes, sir. What we have here is 2024.
Other items I could take with levity, but a CDA is all that community will ever get. Do you know the tremor they go through every time a house, a rock is blasted? Can you compensate them for that?
The House Committee on Solid Minerals therefore constitutes subcommittees for status inquiry as it resolves to embark on oversight visit to mining sites of the company.
Equally right to make. They had better start reviewing this issue of CDA. This 10th assembly will not watch our citizens being raped in broad daylight.
Other companies were asked to come with their individual managing directors or CEOs within 24 hours for the continuation of the hearing, as the committee warns that penalties will be applied for non-compliance. We are now joining the Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals, Honorable Gaza Befwi, who will be speaking on the review of the 2007 Mining Act. You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Let's start from here. How far has the National Assembly gone with the review of the Mining Act?
The House of Representatives has been able to pass an amendment to the 2007 Mining Act. In the year 2023, the process started. So it's Amendment 2023, and it has gone past first reading, second reading.
Right now, it's at the point of, we'll furnish the public hearing. We're just waiting to transmit it. Now, what's interesting about it is because it went through a rigorous process. We actually had a public policy dialogue, which was anchored by the National Assembly Library and Resource Center. After that, that's when we subjected it to the various professionals who made their inputs before even passing it through the House, which, just as I said earlier, went to second reading, has gone past second reading. We're waiting for it to go to the third reading, to pass it to the Senate for concurrence, then to be passed for third reading.
Can you share with us fundamental amendments on the provisions of the 2007 Mining Act?
First and foremost, let me just take 2 or 3, because there are quite a number, apart from increasing fines and other violations, punishments for other violations. Things that would be of interest to the people of Nigeria is, number 1, the CDA and host community rights. As of today, what is to go to the community is really not defined. It is very vague, and you will agree with me, even from the exercise that we're undertaking, that our people are at the far end of the stake. So what we proposed in that law is actually a 5% of turnover, because countries like Ghana are actually charging 1%. So we expect that at the end of the day, even if we're able to get it passed at 1% or 1.5%, with the setting up of a community development association that will monitor these funds, I believe the country will experience rapid development, especially host communities. Standard of lives will definitely improve. Access to very good amenities will definitely improve. This is also in line with the community development, with the PIA, Host Communities Act, where 3% of, I believe, operating capital is actually given to host communities. So it's like manner, more so that it's all extractive industry.
You emphasized on the need for independent mining inspectorate during the investigative session. Can you shed more light on this?
We are advocating that a new agency, just as you have the Mines Cadastral Office and you have the NGSA that are independent but under the Mines Act, we want a scenario where the Mines Inspectorate Department and the MEC, the Mines Environmental Compliance Department, are extracted, but not totally. There will be 1 or 2 desk officers that will be regulators under the minister. However, their operations will now be extracted and it will be formed into a full-fledged agency so that they will have the flexibility and autonomy to actually drill down. Because one of the most important departments, not taking away from the importance of all other departments, but one of the most important departments in the mining space is the Mines Inspectorate Department. Why? They are the ones that police the mining sector. More so that returns in the mining sector are based on what? Self-assessment. For instance, once upon a time in Nigeria, our tax system has always been based on self-assessment. But there was no follow-up till when FIRS evolved. Today, FIRS has over 286 offices with over 3,000 staff. What the FIRS is doing is the same modus operandi with what MID is doing. It's self-assessment. Our mines officers are to go assess what the licensee has declared as what he has mined, or in other words, its wins. And based on these wins, royalties will be charged. Now, how does a mines officer operate effectively when in a state, for instance, like Nasarawa State, that you have 13 local governments, 19 development areas, you have only 3 federal mine officers with over 50 to 100 exploration licenses and over about 20 to 50 mining licenses, quarry licenses as well. How is a mines officer expected to operate? Secondly, let's look at funding. Are they well funded? Do they have the infrastructure to police all these over 150 licenses that are operating within their geographical and jurisdiction? No. Does the federal government have the capacity to fund all these things? Government is about all of us. So that's why we came with this level of ingenuity. Just like you have in places like UBEC, where a percentage is reserved for project monitoring. That's the same thing. And even with these new tax laws, there's a particular percentage that is held back, that is shared to agencies like Third Fund and all these other funds. Such places too can be put under such special funding because of the amount of money they will realize for this country. If Mines Inspectorate are able to police the mining space effectively as it ought to, I can assure you that our finances will quadruple. They will go out of the roof. For instance, what's the value of gold that is being mined in Nigeria? Do you know? What's the value of lead, tin? We just had, from the course of our investigation, a lot of these illegal miners, do they pay royalties? Are they formalized? No. So we do not know the minerals they are taking out. But when you are able to strengthen and enforce and empower your Mines Inspectorate Department as well as your MEC that will oversight the community development associations that now have a lot of funds, I can assure you that indeed development will indeed start from the grassroots.
Thank you for making yourself available on NTA Parliamentary News. Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals, Honorable Gaza Befui. It's a pleasure.
Thank you once again.
This is NTA Parliament News. We take a short break now. The news continues shortly with ECOWAS engagement and State Assembly's democratic journey at 2.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the marketing department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
ECOWAS is taking a midterm evaluation of the implementation of the decisions, programs, and activities of its institutions. During the 37th meeting of the Administration and Finance Committee in Abuja, emphasis was on how to sustain funding for critical projects in the face of dwindling resources. Kevin Ebonuayi reports.
A central agenda at this meeting is the financial implications arising from the exit of 3 of its members, with the vacancies now created from the withdrawal of their citizens from ECOWAS institutions. Another issue is the reduction in international funding from development partners, which is affecting implementation of critical interventions and programs across member states. As custodian of the community finances and advisors, these officials will in the next 3 days evaluate ECOWAS' financial situation and come up with creative ways to sustain the goals of regional integration and free trade.
As finance and administrative experts, please put up your creative and thinking mind to see how we can intensify effective utilization of our resources internally within the institutions, but also to have a contingency strategy of doing away with any foreign development assistance that we relied upon.
On community level, member states are expected to realize the need to comply with the protocol. especially that the three main countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have withdrawn their membership of ECOWAS. By so doing, it is not only going to send a strong positive signal to analysts and observers on the prospects and future of ECOWAS, but also enable the regional body to carry out its programs, including those that have a direct impact on the lives of the citizens of the community.
The recommendations from this meeting are expected to be presented to the Council of Ministers, which will take a look at the various proposals in ensuring that ECOWAS remains financially stable to meet its obligations and objectives. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
The European Union and other development partners are to spend 110 million euros to finance 4 key trade development initiatives in West Africa in the next 2 years. Kelvin Ewonwaye reports again that the ECOWAS Commission is to design the programs in furtherance of its free trade protocol to boost economic integration in the sub-region. His report.
The funds will be provided by the European Union, the German and Spanish governments through their respective international cooperation offices. They are to support ECOWAS in peace, security and governance, trade services programs, institutional training, as well as boost the region's African trade competitiveness and market access. The core of the initiative is to enhance regional trade because when nations trade with one another, they are more likely to cooperate and build peace, an ingredient for development.
As we implement these projects, let us promote dialogue and avoid unilateral decision-making. The partnership advocated by NDC will only be balanced if it allows consultative and joint decision-making.
At the EU, we are proud to support this vision and the ECOWAS efforts in building a safer, more integrated and more prosperous West African region. These initiatives, launched today, address both urgent needs and long-term goals.
While the programs will be designed by ECOWAS based on needs, in collaboration with the donor governments, the implementation will be jointly monitored and evaluated from time to time. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
In the meantime, the legislature, as an arm of government, plays a pivotal role in sustaining democratic governance in any given society. The Lagos State House of Assembly is saddled with the responsibility of making laws for good governance across the metropolis. How has this arm of government fared in its constitutional obligations? Musa Toliat in this report takes a look at the contributions of the legislature in promoting democratic ideals for all-round development in Lagos.
Lawmaking, representation, oversight, and other functions relating to its duties have remained major functions of the Lagos House of Assembly, like other legislative houses in the country. Since the country returned to civil rule in 1999, the need for effective legislative coverage necessitated the division of the state into 3 senatorial districts: Lagos West, Lagos East, and Lagos Central. The 40-member Lagos House of Assembly ensures adequate representation to spread good governance to the doorsteps of residents in 40 constituencies.
Representation is actually the foundation of democracy, especially for lawmakers. If 40 individuals represent various constituencies, all local governments in Lagos State, definitely the people at the grassroots level will be heard.
We receive protesters almost every other day here. And that's to show you that it's a community that is open to embracing and listening. We invite the people, we deliberate on it, sit down, and there's nothing that's ever been brought to the House that has never been resolved.
In the last 2 years, the 10th Lagos House of Assembly has passed several bills to support the economic well-being of the state.
The main problem that we have is electricity problem. So we've passed the bill of electricity bill that an individual or the department could generate for electricity and distribute.
The legislature also holds the executive accountable through its oversight functions in funds appropriation.
We are monitoring the money that we appropriate to ensure that it is judiciously used for the benefit of Lagos, and it is being done.
To sustain democratic values, speedy dispensation of justice falls within the purview of the Lagos Assembly.
We don't really do anything without involving the people and the residents of Lagos.
So most of the time, before any law is passed, even if a law is being reviewed, right, we always have a public hearing here. So it creates fairness. It's for people to be involved.
These responsibilities come with challenges.
The challenges, I would say, are expectations. Expectations are really, really high. I tell everyone every time, I harp on it every single time. Legislators do not have access to funds.
Political observers, however, believe there is need to strengthen the capacity of the legislature to improve its oversight functions so that the contribution to democratic governance by the law-making arm of government can be enhanced. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Since 1999, the legislative arm has been playing a pivotal role in facilitating the national development and governance through lawmaking, oversight function and effective representation. Abbas Mekano examines the crucial role of the legislative arm of government in Nigeria's democracy. We focus on Gombe State House of Assembly.
The Gombe State House of Assembly has been instrumental in lawmaking, oversight and representation.
In Gombe State, legislators had played a vital role, most especially under the Inua Yahya administration. There had been a source of inspiration, there has been a source of support. There had never been any rancor between the executive and the legislative arms. Even though we have some people from other political parties, but they have put all their differences behind them and focus on Gombe State.
To the state houses of assembly, go back to the drawing board, enact laws that will help the development of the nation. The legislative arm of government has equal powers with the executive arm of government, just as the judicial arm of government also rank in that classification.
The House passed over 200 landmark bills since inauguration in 1999 that promotes good governance, education, healthcare, economic development, and social welfare. The legislature has also ensured accountability through public hearings and investigations holding the executive branch responsible for their actions. The lawmakers have been effective representatives addressing the concerns of their constituents and bringing development to their constituencies.
We have seen the kind of laws, the people-oriented laws that they have passed, particularly on the area of people living with disabilities, Gombe State traffic and environmental law, issues that has to do with child rights and what have you. So all those laws, when you look at them, you'll understand that the focus or the idea of development as the governor decided to put in the 10-year development plan is going on well, because the executive had key into that, the legislators had key into that. Even us at the local government level, we have tried to, as much as possible, domesticate the issue of the development plan, and we are trying bit by bit to ensure that we key into the administration agenda.
It is clear that the legislative arm has made significant contributions to strengthening democracy in Gombe State. Their dedication to lawmaking, oversight and representation has positively impacted the lives of Gombe's residents. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
This is where we draw the curtain on parliamentary news for today. You can follow us for news updates on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thanks for watching and to have a great evening. I'm Joshua Oguchide once again.